one of the nicest things that I went to, and so a lot of times it's hard for you to, like you'll get advice. Sometimes it's hard for you to follow the advice, but you can give
You
it.
can give it, yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you gotta
Craig,
get
man,
it.
my lady just told me that too
Yeah,
today.
you gotta, it's weird. But Google did a deal that they call Google 2022 Black. And you can look it up, but it was really nice. But they brought in Black content creators from all over the world. So they had people that are from different countries in Africa and from Spain, Japan, and and they had me come in as a car content creator. And it was just amazing on how they talked about how we as a Black content creator were not being treated on the same level as our white counterparts or our other counterparts. I just thought that was kind of odd, that they would, because I never looked at it like that. And pretty much the overall lump sum, what they said was our counterparts, they talk to each other and tell each other, hey, I did a contract with so-and-so, so-and-so.
You should do
and
the
this is
same.
and this is what they charged me. But us as African Americans, we didn't share. And I remember at the time, Dunkmaster had this saying, and the African brothers that was there, they said they didn't work with a lot of the Americans, And at that time, Dunkmaster had this saying, and it was the game is to be sold and not told. And I said that's because you got to realize, growing up in America, we have a crab in the barrel mentality. He coming up, I got to pull him down so I can get up above him. We always competing against each other instead of working with each other,
To build up, yeah.
And so these Black content creators from other places, they just said they found it so hard to work with African American brothers, but like the Black guy from France, he worked with different, and the Black guy from Japan. But they said when it came to Americans, we all divided. Yeah. If we got something, we kept it here. We wouldn't share it, And so what I did was, when I left that thing, I made a point to try to share is, people that I was talking to, what I learned and experiences that I had. Because at the end of the day, like they say, all ships rise with the tide.
Yeah, I remember you gave us that meeting too that day, right before. It was like that night before the YouTuber call out.
Yes. And that's something that I wanted to do, was to help other influencers that may not, I'm not saying I know it all, but everybody has something to offer. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. But you've been in the game for a long time though. So even just having like the wherewithal to be in the game this long and still running is to be commended. Even with the we'll get to the show too.
Okay.
Let's go. Hey,
let's jump on the show.
You see, I'm over
here locked in.
No, because he got some stuff. He got some stuff.
Let me pull my notebook.
Yeah,
out, you know what I mean?
All right, we ready to rock, Spotty? We good? Say less. What is going on, man? We back at it with another episode of Can I Be Real podcast, man. I am your host, King Mozzie, the legendary. Across the table to me, I got my brother with me, Dion, Nemo, T Vader.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
We in the building, my boy.
We in the building, man. So we got somebody that's really special to my lane, man. Coming from the car community, from YouTube, car influencer, bro. We got a legend, a OG, a stamp in the game, bro. When you think of car content influence, if you had a Mount Rushmore, he on there. He on there. You only got 4 spots, and he one.
Man, I don't know about that now.
He one of them,
king,
man.
I mean, you the king, but you putting me up too high, brother.
Listen, we got him, put him up there, man. We got him, bro.
For sure.
None other than Demonology is in the building. What's going on, bro?
Man, what's up, King Mozzie?
It's good.
Man, it's good to see you, man.
I appreciate it.
It's good to see you, man. Hey, man, you used to roll back in the day.
Hey, look, crazy part,
right?
man, he like just posted a video on YouTube, and it was showing like all the clips from from back in the day, man.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the car game done changed, though.
Yeah.
It changed.
Oh, man, I say, man, King Mozzie was out there doing it, man. You racing it. Hey, man, he would foot race, car race, anything. Man, them young cats was cold, man. Hey, man, I used to call them Thundercats.
Man, we
young Thundercats.
Yeah, them young Thundercats.
We was going crazy, man. So I was telling, the crazy part, I was telling Dion about you, like, the other day, and I was like, man, we got to get him on. I was telling him, like, you were big on YouTube before I got on YouTube, really. I was always seeing your videos, and then when me and him like started really doing YouTube, and we finally got to meet you, I was just like, man, this like a artist meeting, like Michael Jackson, you know, because
no, man, ain't that
you had the demon, you was racing the demon, and you were the first one that I know of that was really racing and making content based off the demon. So if you don't know what the demon is, for those that don't know, it is a Dodge Challenger. They don't even make them no more. It was the only one that was pushing 808.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's what it was pushing. It was pushing 840 horsepower.
840 horsepower.
Yeah.
So like 8 and some change to the wheel.
Yeah, eight and some change. So it was like, I want to say it was like 807. Then you put race fuel in it, and it came up to 840. You know, don't quote me on the numbers.
No. They gonna try to cook it. They gonna try to cook it.
Man, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
The Demon is a very rare car. That's like the next generations, like how people are buying old schools and they go up in value.
Yes.
The Demon is that for this generation. That's something that's a car that won't drop in value. So he was the first one to take it and race it and run it and make car content off of it. For all us to enjoy it. He was taking it to Yellow Belly. Going crazy at Yellow Belly.
Taking it to the gut.
To the gut, man.
Man, you know what? You know how that whole thing got started, right? So I used to watch a lot of YouTube. And the guy that I followed was a guy named Mission Flyer. It's called Mission Flyer's Garage now. But it was a brother. His name was Mission Flyer. And Mission Flyer had a Hellcat. And, you know, when I retired from law enforcement, from the police department, I told my wife, I said, look, I wanted to keep a promise to myself when I was a kid. My first car was a 1970 Dodge Challenger with a 383. And I took it to the Yellow Belly, was racing it. You know, my dad was always turning wrenches on stuff. And I was that kid, he said, hey, hand me this, hand me that. And I handed him something when he wasn't looking. I'm gone. I'm running down the street to go play with my partners at the you know, at the rec or whatever. You know, we call it the tennis courts. You know, we playing football and all that kind of stuff, right? And anyway, I got this car and I took it to the Yellow Belly drag strip. Was racing it, you know, because I grew up in Grand Prairie, in small community called Dalworth, and everybody would go to the gut, you know. And I broke the timing chain. You know, my homeboy, he hooked it up to his truck. We towed it back home, and I told the old man, I said, well, it looked like my car broke. You know, what we gonna do? He went, he looked at it, he turned it over, and he wiped his hand. You know, my mom, she had dinner, whatnot ready, and he said, life lesson. You know, when he said life lesson.
Oh, that means something to come up.
Yeah, something to come up. He said, looks like you're gonna be taking auto mechanics. And so I took auto mechanics. I made that one of my electives, came in, changed it, took auto mechanics so I can get my car fixed. And my shop teacher, Mr. Elton, was a guy that had raced with a dude named Andy Granatelli back in the day. They took a rotary engine and put it in like one of these Indy race cars or whatever. And the rotary engine has no rev limiter. It just rev, you know, infinity or whatnot. And they actually outlawed them from having that engine there. But this dude liked racing so much. that he let me make my 383 Dodge Challenger 1970 my shop project. So I built that car, and I was always thinking, you know, because that's all I could afford was that car. I think I paid $800 for that car.
It ain't the price now.
No, and the thing about that car, King, is my mom and my dad, they said, look, we gave your brother a car, my oldest brother. They said, we gave your brother a car, and he tore it up. So they said, life lesson. Whatever you can make, we'll match. I worked all summer long. I worked at Six Flags over Texas. I worked at Sofa Town Warehouse. I worked at the Arlington Boys Club, and I worked at Piccadilly Cafeteria. I had like all these jobs. You know, I was even working at Toys R Us. So if you couldn't get me in,
you got more jobs than a Jamaican.
Man. Hey man, and that's the way it was because they would only give you so many hours. So many hours, and then I found one of my partners was working at McDonald's, so he got me in at McDonald's. So when I wasn't working at one, I was working at another. Yeah. So I'm working all this stuff. Man, I saved all my money in a brown paper bag. The bag was all torn up. I double the bags. I had coins. I cashed my check. I put my money in there. You know, back then, you know, we didn't have no bank accounts or nothing like that, right? And so my mom and them, they say, well, how much did you save up, man? It was right at like $400, like $398.20 or something like that. You know, we counting the pennies. We at the table, and so, you know, the old man, he said, well, looks like we're gonna have to match it. My mom said, we ain't finna get this joker no $400. And so the old man said, no,
that's what we said.
That's what we said, and that's what we gonna do. You know, he was driving dump trucks and stuff at the time. So they gave me the $400. My cousin had a Barracuda that I wanted to get. Oh my God. He had a 70 Barracuda. It was yellow with black in it, and he had it parked in front of the house, and a dude got drunk one night and hit it, totaled it out, wrecked the car. So I said I wanted a Barracuda. So we looked for a Barracuda. We couldn't find a Barracuda at that price, but we found a 70 Challenger. It was Scott. It was like the B5 blue with a white vinyl top and a white spoiler on it. And so that's what I spent the money on. And that was the first car that I had. And so when I was working on that car in auto mechanics, I promised myself, because I was like, dang, why would somebody buy a car with a 383 when they had 440s and 426? You know, that's all I could afford. You know, but as I got older, I started learning about all these legendary engines and stuff. And I was partial to Dodge. I had some older, they were really my older cousins, but I considered them like my older uncles, you know. But they raced Super Bs and GTXs. So I was the Mopar guy, right?
Man.
And you know, I promised myself at 16, I said, if I ever get in a position, I want to buy the fastest car that Dodge makes. And I said, I promised myself, whenever I retire, you know, back then as a kid, when I retire, I want to. And so when I retired from the police department, at the time, the fastest car that Dodge made was
the Hellcat.
So I tried to buy the Hellcat. They put this big mark up on the Hellcat. Remember, they was crazy. Was raffling them off, and you could do all this stuff. So I had a friend I went to high school with, and he was at a dealership. He said, man, just get the 392. It's the same as a Hellcat. You can't tell the difference. So I got the 392. And I mean, if you going by your butt meter, if you smash the pedal, they both gonna spin the top.
Yeah, they gonna for sure.
They both gonna spin the top. Now, if you get on the drag strip, the numbers are gonna be
completely different.
Right? Completely different. So I had that 392. I was running a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school. You know, I did martial arts and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And my program director, I'd always, you know, me and him, we looked for Hellcats, but they was just. And finally, this dude messaged him out of the blue and said, we have a Hellcat that a guy bought, but he turned it in. This was like 2015, the end of 2015. The guy turned it in because he heard it was going to be a track hawk or the Jeep with the Hellcat engine in it is what he heard. So he said he would. So, but anyway, so my program director, you know, he set it all up. He said, hey, these people up in Illinois, they said they will take your 392 and buy you out of it and only put additional $2,000 on this used Hellcat. And you could get in this Hellcat. So I jumped in the Hellcat. It was a Sublime green Hellcat. The 392 I had was a Sublime green 392. So I'm in this Hellcat. I'm happy with it. I'm watching Mission Fly's garage.
Yeah,
he got his
Mission Fly.
Yeah,
too,
Mission
man.
Fly
Shout
got
out
his
to
stuff.
Mission
I'm
Fly.
getting my fix. Then Street Speed 717.
Ooh, come on, man!
Came
You
with his
naming
stuff.
some people now.
Yeah, you know. So he started doing this stuff. So I was getting my fix, right? And I'm going to the drag strip, you know, and I'm racing my stuff. And I went after the Demon. They said, hey, we got this car coming up. This called the Dodge Demon.
Dodge Demon.
Right? Now, back then I was going to Kennedale and I was going to the Gut racing my Hellcat.
They got a track in Kennedale?
Yeah, man. Kennedale used to have an 8th mile track, man. It was legendary races out there in Kennedale, right? And so
you tired of all these YouTubers, podcasters, all in the videos, dancing, not giving out no information, you know? Come to Can I Be Real, baby? Come to Can I Be Real? We're going to give you every step, tool, and obstacle that you need to know to be successful in this. Go to Instagram, Can I Be Real? And then click the link. It's going to take you to a website. The website going to take you to where you need to go. Then your steps going to be ordered to where you can get the things that you need to get, inquire what you need to inquire, and be monetized the way you need to be monetized.
I don't think they caught that.
They didn't catch it? They didn't catch it? They didn't catch it? They didn't catch it?
They didn't catch it.
So listen to it real good. When you throw that rod out there in that water, you want to catch you something. So when you click on to that link, you're going to catch some information. You know what I'm saying? You can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Can't make them drink.
You can't make them drink it.
But guess what?
We can show you the pond, though.
We can dang it on show you the pond.
We can show you the pond.
We can show you the pond.
We can show you the ocean.
And we can help you swim.
We can help you swim.
We might not get you to the other side.
That's on you.
That's on you.
That's on you.
But we will get you to the water.
We're going to show you where that water is.
Click the link.
Click the link. Can I Be Real?
And, you know, it's just right up the street from the house. It's like 15 minutes from the house, you know, because I'm in Mansfield, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to Kennedale. I'm going to Yellow Belly, you know. Every now and then I would go to the Motorplex, but the Motorplex back then, the prep was trash. You know,
for real,
back then they wouldn't, unless it was a major
race
event.
Going on.
Yeah, they wasn't prepping it, and the cars had too much horsepower, and you couldn't use it, right? But here we go with this Demon. This Demon gonna come in. They say, well, you know, they only gonna make so many of these Demons. You got to do the allocation, and Dodge is not gonna let them mark it up. So I go up to this place, met a Dodge. I put in my deal for the Demon. You know, I meet this dude, older gentleman, and we was at a place. Gas Monkey had a restaurant that was down it was in Irving somewhere. And so he said, hey, did you ever get an allocation for the thing? I said, no, so he said, go to the dealership, put your name on this list. So I went to my dealership. I put my name on the list, you know, blah, 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 blah. No biggie. So my cousin was working at this place called Freeman Dodge. My cousin called me. He said, Kinfolk, we got some allocations for a Demon. He said, I know you want one of them cars. Won't you come up here? So I shot up there.
Yeah.
We making a deal for the allocation, yada, yada, yada. His sales manager walk in. He said, so I understand you want to purchase the Dodge Demon. I said, yes, I want to purchase the Dodge Demon. He said, okay. And he walked up to me, my kinfolk behind him, you know. And the guy say, well, we have this window tinting package that you need to purchase. I'm like, window tint pack? Okay. I said, well, how much is that? It's a $10,000 window tint.
To tint some windows?
Yeah, yeah. So my cousin behind him doing like this. You know?
For those of y'all that don't know, you can get your windows tinted for like probably 75 to 150, maybe 200 at the most, depending on who you go.
Big T. They get you.
Yeah.
You go to 150. They got you. They got you real quick. They got you.
Oh, man. So this dude is like $10,000 for this window tinting package. My kinfolk behind me saying, whatever. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, man, golly. So I'm thinking, okay, well, so this is what this joker doing. He's getting around the allocation,
the markup,
by saying, hey, this is what we gonna do. So he said, what you gonna do? My phone rung, and I picked up. I didn't recognize the number. I said, hold on a second. I needed some time anyway. So I said, hold on a second. So I said, yeah, hello. He said, hey, this is so-and-so at Meta Dodge. Is this Herman Young? I said, yeah. He said, well, you was number 7 on the list, and we only had 6 allocations, and the number 6 guy bowed out. Do you want this car? And I said, what car? He said, the Demon. I said, are you doing a markup on the car? I had walked off by then. So I said, you doing a markup on the car? He said, no, sir, Dodge won't allow us to do a markup on the car. First, I thought somebody was playing a joke, so I'm looking around trying to see my partners, laughing at everyone. And so I said, I tell you what, I'll be on my way up there right now. So got off the phone, went back to the sales manager, my cousin. I said, let me think about it. So I got in the car, started driving towards Meta Dodge. My kinfolk called me back. He said, hey, kinfolk, this manager want to know what you going to do. I said, tell him I'll be right back. My kinfolk later told me, he said, man, when you said that, I knew you wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
He started laughing. So I went to Meta Dodge, put my name on the list, and the car came in, and I got the car. I was so happy with this car. It was, to me, the 2018 Demon was a legendary purchase because it wasn't just the car that came with it. You bought the Demon crate for $1.
For $1 extra, you get the
$1 extra. Why wouldn't you do it, right?
Tires.
Yeah. You got the tires. You got the impact. You got the floor jack. You got the air pressure gauge. You had a different air filter. You had a mirror block-off plate. You had, it had a booklet. It had instructions. They send you this letter, and they said, congratulations, you one of the few that have this and blah, blah, blah. Man, it was, I was a little kid again. Yeah. You remember, like when I was little, we would make little model cars, you know what I'm saying? And this was like one of those little model car experiences. I could take the tires off. I could put the race tires on. It came with 4 sets of 315s all the way around. And dude, it was a beast. The car was a beast. And one day after jiu-jitsu class, I was kind of upset because I was like, man, ain't nobody racing these cars. I can't find no content on this darn Dodge Demon. Yeah. It was just pissing me off. You had Street Speed 717 and Mission Fly, the dudes that I tuned into regularly. And my program director, he's a real laid-back cat. He said, well, why don't you take your own medicine? And I said, well, what's that? He said, well, you always say if you want something done right, do it yourself. I said, well, I don't know how to make no videos and stuff like that. He said, well, I do have skills to edit. So if you make the content, I'll edit it for you. I'll edit it for you. Because you got to realize when people got those Demons back then, they were bubbling them up.
Putting them up.
They putting them up. They wasn't taking them to the track. Now there was a smart move. Yeah. That was a smart move. Yeah. Don't get me. Now I look back at it and say I should have just put the thing up.
He done got it here now.
Yeah, man, my car right now, I'm in the process of putting the car back together. But you know, I was on the police department for like 27 years, you know, and I worked in some crazy divisions, you know, where I investigated gang homicides and all this kind of stuff. And I learned early on that life is not promised. You know, and my grandfather was a minister, and I remember he would eat whatever he wanted to eat, you know, within reason. And sometime my grandmother would tell him, she'd say, "You're not supposed to eat that, preacher, you know, that bacon and blood." And he'd say, "Pearl, they all down at the cemetery. Go down and look. Babies, ones thought they was healthy, ones that was, you know, they all down at the cemetery." You know, and I remember, you know, I would work these homicides and everybody was getting killed, you know, from kids to adults to, you know, he said, "God give you long life," you know. And with that in me, I just said, man, I'm going to enjoy this thing because I don't want to live my life holding on to something that I never really got to enjoy. I just wasn't raised that way, you know. We got our stuff, we used it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was cats that had their favorite shoes and they wouldn't wear them. But hey, I got my shoes. I wore my shoes. You saw my stuff, right?
So what do you feel like? So I don't know if you ever went back and looked at it, but what do you feel? How do you feel about the first video you made with the demon?
Man, the first video I made with the demon, the same guy that told me, "Hey, go and put your name on the list." He got a demon. No, I take it back. That wasn't the first video I made. I think it was the first video I made with the demon. I just drove around the block with it and talked about it. And it was weird because the steering right there where the airbag is at had a demon face on it and it glue red, and it was at night. You know, and I drove around. I went to a gas station and I got on it a little bit, and it was just, you know, and it was, ooh, dude. And it was a simple-minded video. It wasn't nothing special. And we put that on there, and people started watching it. And
it's crazy. Like, there's no better sound in the world than the whine of a supercharger. Please understand me, y'all. The whine of a supercharger is no better. It's no better sound than that. No better.
Well,
sound
you know, I have to disagree with you on
what you gonna say, a turbo?
I love the supercharger whine, but when I put these turbos on that car, and them turbos get to popping, and them turbos get to whining, and you got to realize my turbos are in your face.
Yeah,
my exhaust ain't coming out to the side. It ain't coming out the back of the car. You can see them right there in your. Ooh, man. The turbos, but you know the supercharger whine.
Come on now,
is legendary, brother.
Come on now,
it's legendary. But now I've fallen in love with the turbo scene. But I mean, you know, we'll talk about the turbos later. But so that was my first video. We was just driving, and I wasn't doing nothing with it. And, you know, I just drove it on the street. And then I said to myself, I'm going to make this car run that number, that 9.6.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to bubble it.
Yeah.
Dude, that promise that I promised myself is the thing that got me in trouble. I didn't realize that my Hellcat or that my demon had a Hellcat programming. So when I would crank my demon up, because, you know, nobody has them, when I would crank it up, a Hellcat logo would come up on the screen. And I said, I want to run the number and I want to make my car do a wheelie. My car would not do a wheelie. It would not run the number. I would go out to this track that's called North Star, and I'm trying to do this wheelie, get this front end off the ground. I met this old cat. He came up to me. He said, "You mind if I give you some advice?" He said, "What are you trying to do? I see you here all the time. You take off, you line up, you come back around. I said, "I'm just trying to get the front wheels off the ground."
Yeah.
You know, and then I want to attack this number. So he said, "Well, let's adjust your air, you know, and da-da-da." He said, "But your suspension is just not cooperating. It's not going, you know, da-da-da-da." And this guy was a legendary bracket racer by the name of Rod Hetzel. and all he raced was Mustangs. You know what's so weird to me is that with all of the car community, the Mustang people have been the nicest to me.
We've been the meanest to them.
It's something. It's something about the Mustang community. They embrace other racers.
Yeah.
Dodge community is like, if you ain't got a Dodge.
We mean, man.
Mopar, no car.
Mopar, no car. We mean, we disrespectful. We don't like nothing outside of that Dodge. Nothing outside of that Dodge symbol.
Yeah, and then the Chevy people is like LS the world.
Yeah, of course. Bow tie, no tie.
Yeah, man. But this Ford guy took a liking to me, and he started teaching. You know, I drag raced as a kid, but not on this level. And he started teaching me all this foot braking technique. And I remember a dude came up to me and say, "Whatever you do, stay away from that old timer, because he gonna try to teach you on this foot braking technique." You know, and man, I learned this foot braking technique from him, and I started winning all these races, right? So I'm going on, I'm winning these races. You know, they open up Extreme Raceway Park. You know, I'm at the Yellow Belly, and I'm at the North Star, ended up closing or whatever, yada, yada, yada. But one day I was in the staging lanes. I had just done a burnout, and the car went dead. And I cranked it back up, and a guy was standing there next to the car. And he said, "Man, that ain't no real demon. This dude got a Hellcat and is telling everybody it's a demon," because when it came on,
the Hellcat
popped up, came up on the screen. And I was like, man, what is this dude talking about? Well, I had became friends with the mechanic at Metter Dodge. His name is Luis Mosqueda. And so I called Luis, and I said, "Luis, what's going on?" So he said, "Bring the car in, let's look at it, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you're right. The emblem on this car is not, you know."
Not right. Say, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not what it's supposed to be. So I think then I had went and raced Street Speed 717. He had this YouTuber call out. And I went up there and raced. You know, I put lightweight wheels and tires. You know, I didn't mod the engine. And rotational weight, I beat him with rotational weight, lightweight wheels and tires. And I beat him because I could cut a light. At that time, he was running a McLaren. And a lot of people that I was drag racing didn't understand drag racing. And when I raced him, he said, "The scoreboard is messed up." He didn't even get a reaction time. It said 0,000 reaction time. You know, and I'm thinking, man, that's a perfect light. What is this dude talking about? You know, but Luis stayed on it. One of the engineers sent him a message back saying, "What is this guy complaining about? We see him racing, and he wins the majority of all his races." And Luis showed me the email that the Dodge SRT team sent back to him. And that kind of ticked me off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But some dude from the SRT team saw the races because we sent videos of my car launching. And he looked into the car, told Luis to plug it up. My car was a demon, but it had Hellcat parameters set on it. Not only was my car messed up, it was 1,200 cars that they had programmed.
1,200 demons like that?
Yeah, it was 1,200 demons that they had programmed by mistake on this, whatever, when they did it, during this time period, that they had Hellcat parameters. So, changed it on the laptop, hooked it up to the car, cranked it up. Wow, demon came up on the screen. So I put the car in drag mode. I was on the street, King Mazel. I damn near wrecked the car. So you know how you just go whoop on the throttle and make it do like that?
Jump, yeah.
Man, I was sitting at a red light. Car was a pretty good ways in front of me, you know what? And I just left the dealership. I said, man, I'm gonna see what's the difference in this car. Man, I hit that gas pedal. All I could see was the sky. It went, I went back in the seat. Man, I had to physically, mentally tell myself, Get on the brake. And I stopped right before I rear-ended this dude.
Oh, my gosh.
The whole suspension was different. I went to the drag strip. I went to Extreme Raceway Park. Boom! The front wheels came off. And you got to realize when the front wheels come off the ground, like, a foot, you think that you can see down it. No, you're looking at the sky, bro.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
And it scared the bejeebus out of me, man. I was like, then my 60-foots got better. Yeah. Everything got better. And I was like, oh, man, this is fun. I'm doing it now.
So with you taking it to Yellow Belly, so people that don't know about Yellow Belly and Grand Prairie, that's where you go to learn how to race. That's where you see people racing a mama car, their mama Infinity. Whatever you want to race, you can race at Yellow Belly. You can literally take it to Yellow Belly and race it. But I remember seeing your videos and seeing the reaction of people seeing you race the Demon at Yellow Belly. So like what was that moment that you felt like, or did you ever feel like with doing those videos, like this YouTube thing is like working?
The funnest video I made at the Yellow Belly, one of my friends, his name is Charles, and he sells insurance. Charles McGriff. Man, this dude has saved me so much money on insurance. Y'all look him up, find him. I don't know what his insurance company is called now, but I just called Charles McGriff and he was at that time I think he was doing Allstate, whatnot. But Charles comes from a drag racing family, but they race Camaros. And I happened to be at the Yellow Belly with the Demon. And I think it was his young brother was there with a Camaro. And I think it was a Z71. I don't know the Camaro platform, the Chevy platform. Anyway, he had a badass Camaro that was there. And we lined up. You know how we talk now.
Come on now.
Hey, what's up? What you gonna do?
That's a Yellow Belly. You gotta be able to talk, boy. Yellow Belly.
So we lined up, and you gotta realize at the gut, people are standing on your car.
On the track, literally.
Yeah, I mean, but I grew up there, so it was natural to me. And, all my people are my kinfolks and, my friends. And, so it was just natural. We talking noise and whoop-de-whoop and blah, 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 blah. And we line up. My wife was with me. My next-door neighbor was there that day. And, man, I cut a good light on him. And the track held. I walked out his life. To this day, at the end of all my videos, I put that on my video. You can see the guy throw his hand. One of the Dodge mechanics from Meta Dodge was there. It was a.
Tired of being told no because of your low credit score? Tired of being told no because of your credit? What if your comeback starts today? Maybe you're stuck with a low credit score that's blocking you from getting approved. Or worse, you're paying sky-high interest rates because of a few mistakes you made in the past. Well, here we go. Listen. HLP Credit Solutions specialize in removing negative items like collections, late payments, charge-offs, and giving you the clean slate you deserve. Imagine waking up, watching your score go up, and looking at your stress go down. Ready to rewrite your financial story? Click the link below, book your free consultation, and use the code CIBR. Get started today. Drop the word credit down below, and we'll send you a free invitation to get started to a new life. HLP Credit Solutions.
Black dude that was there, it was a brother, and he run down the track behind me. But man, that was the best race I ever had in my life. I would always keep that on my channel as a tribute to the Yellow Belly drag strip. The thing that I can tell you about the gut is that it is a great outlaw track, but some little things that I think can be done to make it better. First of all,
the track.
It's a tight track.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of wiggle room.
No.
And the track has a couple of transition parts.
Yes.
And if they could just resurface it,
it'll be perfect.
Gosh.
Yeah.
But people love the Yellow Belly, and I think some people like it for the wrong reasons. Because you can put high-powered cars on the Yellow Belly and they can get down the track, but at any given moment,
it can be over with.
Especially
that left lane.
Dude, at any given moment. So the right lane has a transition as soon as you take off, and if you can adjust your shocks, So when I go to the Yellow Belly, you know, my shocks and my suspension, I had to change it up because it has to absorb. Mm-hmm. And on the left lane at the
it's
top,
a little on down, like by the cage.
Yeah. At the top, it has another transition. Mm-hmm. So you'll see guys be going, and all of a sudden their car go like this, right across. Yep. If you can fix those things, I think the Yellow Belly would be so much more better. You know, people like seeing the wrecks. They like seeing the drama. They like seeing the, you know, and that's with drag race. You can be on a perfect track, and those things are gonna happen, right? But you like seeing somebody else getting into a wreck, but you don't want to be the one getting into the wreck. You don't want to be especially in like a brand new car, right? Mm-hmm. You know, but the staff at the Yellow Belly are really good people. The security is tight. You know, I say if you've never been there in your lifetime, go there. It's a different atmosphere. Yeah. It's no track you're going to get that type of atmosphere at. My race coach, Rod Hetzel, just kind of begged me, stay away from the cut. It's an accident waiting to happen. Man, but you know, when you grow up in that.
It's a nice. It's like you said, it's a different environment. It's not as suit and tie. Yeah. You know? Yeah, you can kind of go over there and let your hair down and just enjoy the scene. But I remember, so before we started the show, you was talking about the Black community when it comes to content creators and influencers. Mm-hmm. I remember when I first started really doing YouTube, me and Hemi Life and Real, we were all bouncing videos. Shout out to those guys. We was all bouncing videos off each other. And I seen how fast we grew because of that.
Yes.
And then you gave the speech for the YouTube's call. First of all, what made you do the YouTube's call out in Dallas? Of course, we already know you and shout out to my guy too, man. Y'all set up the race.
Who was that? Dunk Master?
Dunk Master, man.
Man, this is the thing, dude. So I was racing this demon. I'm doing my thing. I'm making my content. My little brother, he runs a barbershop. It's called Suave House. It's over in Fort Worth off of East Church Parkway. When I go to the barbershop, you know, I mean, I can grow hair. I just cut it because I'm lazy. Don't want to be sitting in the barbershop all day, right? So I go to the barbershop, and everybody's like, man, you ain't nobody. Race Dunk Master.
Yeah.
Why don't you race Dunk Master if you want to be? I'm like, man, who the hell is a Dunk Master? You know, then I started seeing his content, and I was like, oh, man, this dude is for real, right?
Yeah, he's the truth.
Unbeknownst to me, the people up there where Dunk Master's at in the Carolinas saying, won't you race Demonology? Won't you race Demonology? Yada, yada, yada. So I go to SEMA. I'm walking through SEMA. Who do I hear with his big mouth?
Loud and proud. Everywhere.
Galp sauce. Demonology, you hear me? Come get some of this Galp sauce. Man, I called. I said, man, I'm going to snatch your soul, brother. If you lost your mind, you don't know what you, come on, get this Galp. Oh, man. And so I met the dude. And so the way that the YouTuber call out came about, big shout out to Corey, tall
guy, man.
Tall guy.
Shout out to tall guy, man.
Car review, Hell Keezy. So Street Speed.
I was supposed to race.
Well, hold on a second. So let me tell you what happened. Street Speed 717 did this YouTuber call out, right? I'm thinking the cat, he just called out the people that he know, right? That's around it. Corey jump on the dude. Corey's like, you ain't called out no YouTubers of color. Corey said, I feel like it's a little racist. And he said, I can speak on it because my daddy black and my mama white. He said, all these YouTubers of color, you ain't called not one of them out. He said, don't do this again. Yada, yada, yada.
Come on.
And so this cat reached out to me, and Mod the Fame at the time had his deal.
Shout out to Mod the Fame.
Yeah, man. So Mod the Fame had his deal. Man, people don't know this, man, but Mod the Fame is, he's sharp with the tongue. You know
I watch the videos.
Hey man, you know them cats from New York.
Different.
They have a way of speaking so slick and so subtle.
Yes.
They'll cut you and you don't realize you cut.
Yes.
And you say, man, am I leaking?
And they got the swag behind it too. You know what I'm saying? They got the whole body language. Yeah,
dude. Me and Corey, Mod the Fame, some other YouTubers, we was having this little regular chat called, I don't know, I think Mod the Fame called it YouTubers of Color or something. I don't know what he was called. But we would talk, you know, and try to strategize and yada, yada, yada. Mod the Fame hosts this race. I go up there to the race. You know, I didn't want to take my car, so I borrowed somebody else's car. Oh, you got a demon? I'll just drive your demon, right? Man, you know, Corey, you know, we always joking. Corey called me milk dud head, you know.
He always
you know, he called me something, you know, I had a funny name for him or whatnot. You know, I called him something, you know, tall drink of water, whatever, you know, so we, you know,
back and forth.
Yeah. You know, so we going, why does Corey go at this New Yorker? Man, Mod the Fame cut him.
Mod the Fame's crazy.
Mod the Fame cut him fast and cut him deep.
Bro, that's
he said Mod the Fame said something about his car that was true, but it was funny, but it was it cut him.
Because the tall guy, he blew up the whole Hellcat lane, but he didn't really know like how to race it. He just had a Hellcat and he was good at
man, tall guy is good at what he's good at, and that is having fun and making enjoyable videos. Man, I would just be waiting for a tall guy video because it's gonna be on point.
Entertaining. It's
gonna be on point. Tall guy would put his mama in the car. Tall guy would put his boss in the car. Tall guy would do, and he just had a good time with his car. And you was waiting for Hell Keezy. Hell Keezy, everybody knew what Hell Keezy was.
Yes, everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody. That's why them tall guy, Mod to Fame.
Yeah.
Who else was like
Mission Flaw was out there, but he didn't have a Hellcat. I don't think. Yeah. I think Mission Flaw, he did. Mission Flaw had the Hellcat. Yeah, and then Mission Flaw, I think he had a manual too. He had
the manual. He had the manual.
He had the manual.
And Run from Detroit. He had the green Hellcat Challenger. Him and Tall Guy did like that first.
Yes. But anyway, Tall Guy and Mod the Fame got into it. I'll never forget, we was on this parking garage and we was cracking jokes on each other. You know, everybody can take a joke, and you know, growing up in the hood.
Yeah, you gotta be able to take one.
If somebody gets you, you better laugh with it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't laugh with it,
they coming
back. They gonna come back another.
They gonna bury you. And I saw this happen. I mean, you know, I'm older, and Mod the Fame cut him with something. Yap. And Corey quit smiling.
Hey, and he never stopped smiling.
Yes.
He never stopped smiling.
And when Corey stopped smiling, I was like, oh, he done got in his feelings. Mod the Fame done got in his feelings.
Yeah, he taking it personal.
Yeah. Where is this gonna go?
Man, that's crazy.
Where is this gonna go? And then it just, you know, I try to separate them, you know, and go on, man. After that, man, I was like, woo, Mod the Fame, you cold, man. Why you do my boy like that, man?
He quick with it, too.
Why you do my boy like that, man?
Quick with it, too.
That Mod the Fame is, but anyway, so Corey was doing his thing. Mod the Fame was doing his thing. I just felt like we needed to collaborate with ourselves, because I come from the time of, you know, all ships rise with the tide. You know, if I can help you, you can help and so on. And we all get together and we all do better. And so when me and Dunkmaster called me, he said, look, man, let's put this thing together so I can put some knots on your head real quick and get this thing over with, because you're not going to beat the Z06. Man, I wasn't even worried about Dunkmaster. Because, you know, I seen the car run. I know the car don't have a 60-foot. I know I'm going to get out on it. I know the turbo is a drive-by car. Man, I'm going to be off the track. Well, I had some more guys coming down the race that I didn't even take Dunk Master serious at the time. I had drag times that was coming down with a McLaren. I mean, it was like several people that was coming that I was focusing on them. I'm like, I ain't even worried about this big wheel, dude. You know?
He said big wheel.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. That's easy peasy for me. He ain't even on the menu. You know, that's the
appetizer.
Yeah, the appetizer, man. You know. So I'm worried about all these other guys, and I think I raced a Cobra Jet.
I remember the Cobra Jet.
I raced the McLaren, and I'm doing all this stuff to my car. And you know, our cars are modded, and my tuner at the time, I couldn't reach him, and my car was giving me problems. This is the big day of our race.
Yeah.
I learned a lesson. The big day of our race, the car started bucking, giving me problems, and I couldn't get my tuner. I needed the guy to be on the laptop to make the corrections. Yeah. And I could not get the corrections made at the race. And so when I did race Dunk Master, which I didn't think it was going to be a race to begin with, you know, and when I took off, I was racing
the Black Blur?
Yeah. No. I raced the Z06.
Okay.
And I took off, the car took off, and it stalled like it was doing the whole time. If you go back and look at that video, when I raced drag times, I went up in the air with a wheelie and the car cut off. Boom! It stalled itself out. And at the time, we didn't know it, but the car was a tuned stock car. And when the front wheels would come up too high, the computer would tell the car that it's in a wreck. And it would cut the power. It would cut the throttle body.
Oh, shit.
Close the throttle body to save the car. And so that's what was happening. And my tuner could have made that correction. He could have looked at it. You know, it's all new to us, right? Anyway, I go to race Dunk Master. I jump out. I swear to you, I remember this like it was yesterday, man. This joker passed me.
Yeah.
With like his head like this. Ah! And I'm looking at this joker going by me like this, and he like, ah!
Oh, man.
Man, I was so hot.
Bruh, listen.
Oh, I was so hot, man. I could have just wrecked into him. I was so hot.
That event that y'all put together was... that was probably my best YouTube moment. Every black content car creator that was either already booming or on their way or inspiring was there.
Oh man, everybody was there.
Everybody was there.
Everybody came to that thing.
That was the best. That was my best YouTube moment.
Man, that thing was jam packed.
Oh, it was packed.
We had the first drag pack since Dodge came back with the drag pack. It was there. A guy by the name of Dennis Chasman had brought that drag pack up there. We had Cobra Jets that was there. I mean, we had extraordinary people. We had extraordinary content creators that was there. And the great thing about that is that they amplified the message. Everybody wanted to make content and they pushed that content out to everybody. And it was amazing experience. You know, it was so bad on that thing that when I lost that race to Dunk Master, people don't even remember this. I came back and raced the Black Blur.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I finally reached out to a guy that made some adjustments, got my issue fixed, beat the brakes off the Blur.
Yeah.
Don't nobody remember it.
We was on the track. We remember because that's when y'all raced, and then that's when Josh and Hemi Life raced right after you.
Yes.
Raced right after you.
Yes, but the racing community, they don't even remember when I beat the Black Blur.
They just remember the Z06.
They just remember the Z06. And the man put knots on my head like he said he was.
Man.
Right? And man, big shout out to Dunk Master, man. Dunk Master is a legend in the game.
Yes.
You know the thing that upset me the most about Dunk Master, and this is not a knock to the other racing channels, that they have. Dunkmaster had a TV series that was called Dunkmaster. Man, it was really exciting.
Yes.
I don't know what it was, but when you turned it on, you better get your popcorn ready because anything gonna happen. Anything gonna happen with him out there talking crazy, CC out there, Boost Doctor, all these people. Man,
I used to rewind on YouTube and go watch the argument. I used to watch just for the arguments. Just for the arguments.
Dude, it was great content.
Oh yeah.
And its content was far above that of other car racing channels at the time. I mean, I still say to this day, if you hadn't seen that, go find that thing.
And go watch it.
And watch it.
Yeah, binge watch.
Dude,
binge watch.
It is.
Binge watch.
It was amazing, just the atmosphere, the people in the races. And I don't know why it didn't take off. Other racing channels took off. That I felt like that deal Dunkmaster did was 100 times better.
Yeah, I think he was maybe too urban for the mainstream because he was raw. He was raw, and he was himself.
Yeah, he was himself.
He wasn't bending that like the guy.
He was unapologetic.
Unapologetic, like the guy that's on that show. That's the guy that I met that weekend.
Yes.
And he was that way the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's probably why they didn't really just push it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they feel like he wasn't as able to be commercialized, pretty much.
I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it's the best racing show that I've ever seen
to this day
in my life.
To this day, better than Outlaws.
Better than any other racing show that I've ever seen.
Yes.
I was at the house one day and I was rewatching it, and one of my sons hadn't seen it, and I got 6 kids and 2 dogs, right? And one of my sons was like, "Dad, what is this?" And I said, "Man, it's the Dunkmaster show."
Yeah, come on now.
Man, he was like, "Oh my God." He just couldn't get his eyes off of the TV screen. I mean, I just thought it was just great content. But he brought in racers that you heard about and never really seen, and you got to see their characteristics.
Yeah.
And one guy that I want to race that I hadn't raced yet, boy, we talked a lot of noise, and I got to know him. I seen him at the track, and I met him. Is Boost Doctor.
Boost Doctor, man. Come on now.
I want to race Boost Doctor so bad. People don't realize, people don't know this, but they call Boost Doctor the granddaddy, right?
Yeah.
But I'm older than Boost Doctor.
Okay.
So I always tease Boost Doctor. I call him Benjamin Button. I said, "You just an old ass baby. You just a baby that look old." Hey. And I always tease Boosty.
Yeah.
And Boosty be like, "You ain't got enough.
Yeah.
You don't have enough."
Man, it's crazy, man. I was talking to this is the day we went to the track for the call out. And this guy, he was on the track. He was like, "Man," he said, "Racing is 60% talking shit, and only 40% racing. Dude. You gotta be able to go both ways.
Yes.
You gotta be able to talk.
Yes. I mean, you gotta be able to put up. Yeah. And you got to be able to show what you can do because at any game, and people don't realize this. Like when we pull up to the tree, people are playing games. Like I study racers. I say, okay, well he liked the stage first. Or I get him out of his rhythm. Or this guy, he liked to do this long burnout, but he liked to burn out last. And the thing about racing is that if you can get a guy out of their rhythm,
you can beat him.
You can beat him. Because the race is won and lost on the tree. And this is what I learned. I got a cousin that bracket races also. Big shout out to Vincent Taylor. And so, between him and Rod Hetzel teaching me how to deep stage, how to stage first, how to knock people out of their games, how to get there to the track. Like if it's not an auto tree, it's a guy that's holding the button.
Yeah.
So a couple of secrets. You get there early. And you watch the guy on the buttons, and you see how he letting the button go. Because people get into a rhythm, right? And so people don't understand this, right? So you learning all this stuff, and you get this stuff in. And I raced this dude years ago with my stock demon, and this dude's nickname is Pig, but his car was fast. It was a super snake, and he called it. And I didn't like racing for money. I didn't like betting. So people was like, "Well, if you don't race for money, then what do you race for?"
Yeah.
And so I said, well, hell is a demon. I guess I'm reaching for your soul. And it just took off.
So that's where the snow.
Yeah, so that's where the soul snatcher
okay.
comes. And so, man, I'll be driving down the street and cats roll up on me, bong, bong, honking their horn. I roll the window down. I want my soul back. I want my soul back. And so I was like, man, what is this dude talking about? You know, it's the earliest thing. So then the dude come to me like, you know, what you do with my soul, fool? I said, hell, I put it on the altar of Mopar. I said, you sacrifice. Well, then how do I get my soul back? Well, I guess you got to bring your uncle's soul or somebody else's soul. Yeah. Both of y'all going to be up there. You know, man, at one time I had Dunk Master Soul, his uncle Bubba Jimmy. So I had all of them laying up on the altar of Mopar, man.
Come on, it's soul-snatcher.
Yeah,
so
man.
How did you, what was that moment like, or how did you adjust to like, from it just being like, oh, I'm just making videos on YouTube to like, I'm Demonology. Like, people are recognizing me as, people are really coming up to me, hey, I'll watch your video.
Yeah.
Because that, for me, when that happened, it was like night and day. You know, like going from just making YouTube videos with me and him, like, I'm just, okay, cool. It's fun doing this. And then I started to see like the traction and people like coming up like, hey, I watch your videos.
Yes. Oh, man. Dude. Look, me and my wife, we was at a restaurant. We was eating. And you know, I'm loud. My wife said, you know, your voice carry, you got a big blah, 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 blah. And this dude turned around at this table, you know, and he walk over there, you know, and I'm like, man, am I gonna have to pop this food? You know, what is this about? And he say, you Demonology. Said, I recognize your voice. I said, oh yeah, oh, you know, what's up? And right then it hit me. I'm like, man, this guy recognized my voice, you know? And then I started looking back on other influencers that I would watch and would recognize their voice. And I was like, man, I guess people are watching in on this thing, you know? And it started to grow and grow and grow from there.
I think I remember my first collab. I guess outside of him, like, cause me and him was always together. So outside of him, my first collab was Real.
Yeah, Real to Real.
Real gave me my first serious break to the game of like okay, like this is for real. And I remember him talking to me. He was like, man, everything is content. Cause I was only posting like just trying to be really, really super strategic with my posting on videos. Like, okay, if this wasn't a part of the video, then I wouldn't post it or I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But he was like, bro, he said, everything is a video.
Hey, man, Real to Real was great inspiration because he would come on, hey, man, man, it's your boy, man, Real to Real, y'all. And my wife, she loved Real to Real's channel, you know. And when we met Real was just he was everything he was on his video. Channel and more. And his wife and everybody is nice. And just Real to Real has always been that guy. I tell you, the funniest thing that I saw with Real to Real and you know, Real jumped out of character. Real has always been playing the nice guy. But when that dude when he scratched Real to Real's rim. Oh, woo, gosh, man. I said, that is Real to Real grounded Jack. Don't hit it with the Jack Real. I'm yelling at the TV. Don't hit it with the Jack Real. Oh my goodness.
Real is funny, man. And I want to say this too on the channel. I remember we first started. This is right before the call out, probably like that day before when we met you at the shop.
Yeah.
And it was either, I forgot who that told, it was either, I want to say it was Life with GQ. This is when me and him kind of had bumped heads with Real. And then you called us up to the shop. You're like, man, come to the shop. I don't know if you remember, but you talked to us. Man, when you talked to us, you was like, man, whatever it is, y'all talk about it, y'all work it out, because I need y'all at the show tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because y'all wasn't going to make the show.
Yeah. And we spoke, man, we kind of cleaned up stuff for Real. But at that point, I knew how serious you were about Black content creators working together.
Bringing the community together. Yeah. Instead of being at odds with each other. And you know, the person that I really got that from is Stunner Reese.
Shout out to Stunner Reese, man. You bring it out. You name some. Man, shout out to them guys, man.
Dude, Stunner Reese called me one day. He was in Dallas. I don't know how he got my number, but you know, Stunner got connections all
everywhere.
over the place. And Stunner Reese called me one day, and I was doing a YouTube thing, and I was having fun with it and stuff like that. And Stunner Reese said, he called me one day, and he said, man, I want to meet you. He said, come. He said, I'm doing this. I guess he does bike events or something. He said, I'm doing this thing over here in Dallas. And I met him, and Stunner Reese pulled me to the side. He said, man, you important to the community. He said, whether you believe it or not, he said, you are important to the community. And a lot of people are watching you.
Of course.
And he said, I want you to keep doing it and make sure that you represent.
Yeah.
You know, and it was all Stunner Reese. You know, and you know, I was just doing it, but I wasn't thinking if it was, you know, nothing.
No, you the OG.
But Stunner, it was Stunner Reese, and I would watch Stunner Reese. Man, Stunner, you know, people don't know this, but Mod the Fame called me to come to an event in Chicago. I flew up there and I drove another guy's car. And Stunner Reese said, hey, man, you can just stay at my house, you know. So I go to Stunner Reese's basement. And I don't know if you remember Merch Man.
Yes. Dude, he came with him to the call out.
Dude, I'm sleeping. Stunner Reese had this dummy looking thing that he called Merch Man. He would put a little different stuff on him that he was selling at the time on his video. I'm sleeping on a couch in Stunner Reese's basement. And you know how it's coming in the morning and you kind of waking up? And I wake up and I see this thing sitting up there looking at me, scared the shit out of me. Excuse my language, scared the crap out of me. Man, I swear the Merch Man moved. Man, you know, I'm looking at this thing. And I'm like, man, I'm finna jump out this window or I'm finna jump on this thing. But I swear this thing looked like it was moving.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was like, man, Stunner Reese, I hope you hear up and wake up in the way. Man. About 10 minutes later, I heard some footsteps. Stunner turned the light, and when he turned the light on, hey, Demonology, you all right down? Then I could see that. Hey, man, I had to go to the bathroom, and the thing was blocking my path to the bathroom. Man, I was not getting up to move because I didn't know. Man, I ain't never told nobody that story, man. But Merch Man scared the bejeebus out of me.
Shout out to Stunner Reese, man.
Hey, man, I was finna tear that basement up, brother. It was finna be a fight. Oh, man.
What movie is that? Oh, I Am Legend, when he got into it with the mannequin.
No, I ain't never seen it. The I Am Legend, they got the
with
robots.
Will Smith.
He got the robots, right?
With Will Smith, he was I Am Legend. He was like a survival from the last. The whole city had cleared out from the.
I seen it a long time ago, but I thought he was fighting a robot.
So it's two different movies. Yeah.
Our Robot.
Yeah, Our Robot.
That's the one I seen. Yeah, I hadn't seen I Am Legend.
But man, shout out to Stunner Reese, man, all those guys, man. I'm gonna be honest, I really, really loved that era of content creators
so
and the
pure.
car scene. Yeah.
Oh God, it was so pure.
It's different now. Yeah. It's not the same. But back then, Stunner Reese, who else we had? Cooley B. Coolin.
Yeah, Cooley B. Coolin was come on, man. What's your boy down in that was down in Houston? It was a couple of dudes.
You had YouTube on the budget.
Corey, YouTube on the budget. Yeah. Corey, Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert, Corey.
There was a few other guys that came with him.
Uzumaki was down there.
Yes, had the
dude.
Yes, he had the big anime anime haircut.
Yeah, he still does. You know, I ran into him. Pennzoil reached out to me. Well, it was actually Shell, right? And so Shell reached out to me and they said, look, we're looking for a content creator to push our Pennzoil brand and your analytics line up. And, you know, we like your channel. We saw everything about you. And we want to work with you. And so I said, okay. With that, they were shooting a commercial. They said, we're going to shoot a commercial, and we're going to shoot some social media posts, and we need you to come to California. You know, because I'm thinking, okay, we're going to shoot this commercial. We got the Yellow Belly, XRP, and Motorplex. And they said, no, we're going to have you come to Hollywood, California. We're going to bring both of your cars. We're going to transport down there, fly you and your wife first class, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah. So they said, we have a guy that's going to bring some other cars in, right? I said, okay. And I'm speaking to the guy. I'm speaking, and the guys. And so he mentions the guy's name. He says, yeah, so on this day, Corey is going to have these cars. Corey. And then the dude, we speaking some more, and the dude said, yeah, he'll be coming in from out of Houston. Well, I only know one Corey out of Houston.
Yeah.
So I called his brother. I said, hey, man, you working on a campaign with Shell? You know, people don't know this, but Shell is a huge company.
Very
and they
huge.
own a lot of stuff out there. And one that they own is Pennzoil. And he said, yeah, I'm working on a deal with Pennzoil. How did you know? And I said, because I'm working on it too. So you're out there. So he's picking cars for the commercial that I'm going to be on. And we just had a great time, dude. We met in California, me, him, and the wife. We went to a restaurant and ate, and just, man, it's just beautiful to see this brother. But he does the anime stuff, and he always comes to the big showdown. And you know, he has an anime section. If you want to come to the big showdown and you got an anime car, call.
His car is nice too, man.
Yeah.
What else do you got coming up?
Right now, the biggest thing that I have coming up, I have some more content that I have to put out for Shell. So Shell, people don't realize this, but they own several. I mean, they own several major companies. I remember they blew my mind. They said, "Look, we're going to partner you up with AutoZone," and they said we have several car part companies which are close to you. And I said, well, what do y'all have? They said, we have AutoZone, we have O'Reilly's, and we have Advanced Auto. I'm like, they all on the same block. You know where I'm at? So they got everything, right? And so they partnered me up with AutoZone, and we made content for that. And we have a couple of more content, that we want to make and put out. One of my partners, which is Holly, and Holly makes darn near everything. Pennzoil wanted me to run a deal where I pop a parachute, so I'm still waiting on this parachute to come because now the car has like dual. I got the single parachute, but I want the dual parachute to come out. I think it'll look better. I think it'll look better on the video. But anyway, so they did this content and we did this commercial, and I noticed one of the bottles had French on it. You know, so it's national and international. So it's showing here, and it's also showing in France. You know, and they just do an AI voice too.
Okay.
The company. Matter of fact, I saw one of them, and my wife said, "I don't remember you doing the voiceover for that." I said, "That's the AI voice." And it's they can do an AI voice, make it sound pretty much just like you. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I watched the one you sent me, the video you sent me from the Pennzoil. And it was crazy. I had seen it on Instagram. I reshared it right before you sent it to me.
Yes.
I was like, damn, that shit look.
So nice. I mean, and that was a lot of fun, and that was on a whole nother level. They had the fires in California, and a lot of people didn't know this, but they had to change the filming dates because of the fires. Because of those fires was real close to Hollywood. And then after the fires, they had the rains, and the rains caused the mudslides and stuff. And so we came back here, and they said, you know what? Why don't we just come here and film it here? And so I reached out to XRP to try to get them in contact with them. And I reached out to the guys at the Texas Motorplex. And the whole staff at the Texas Motorplex at the time was, I think, somebody had got married. I don't know if it was DeMarcus or if it was TJ Bailey, but anyway, somebody had got married, and they was all on a cruise. And they ported up somewhere where they had cell phone service, and they called back, and Texas Motorplex called back first. And so They did a contract with Texas Motorplex.
Okay.
And we came and shot the commercial on the track at the Texas Motorplex. And what was so great about that was that, you know, when you're doing a commercial, they feed you like 3 times a day, 4 times a day. They got snacks and food and all this stuff. And it was so beautiful because they told me, they said, we need extras. Sorry I didn't call you King Mozzie, but I called all my family, all my immediate friends and the number, blah, 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 blah. And the people showed up there and they said, okay, so we go into this room, the Motorplex, you know, they got this room and everybody's there. Man, it was almost like I was attending my own funeral, you know. All my kids was there.
Everybody was there.
Everybody was getting along. They was talking. They was just, my brothers was there. Oh, man, it was just beautiful, man. It was cold that night, you know, because dude, it had got cold and they wanted us to have whatever they started the filming with. They wanted you to have the same thing on.
To make it.
Yeah, so you couldn't throw on a jacket. So hey, man, they suffered through it. And I, you know, my hat goes out to my friends and family. And it was a great event, you know. So we did all that and we got that done and got that wrapped up. What we have next is, like I said, I have to make some more posts for them, but we're moving the big showdown to North Carolina.
Oh, shit.
And I love the Motorplex, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Dunkmaster, and I didn't realize it, but Dunkmaster was like, dude, I've been coming to Texas to whoop your head for the last 5 years. I said, no, brother, no. If we count, I'm up on you.
Yeah.
I'm up on you 3-2.
Yeah.
So I'm up on you, right? And so he was like, we never been to North Carolina. You have a fan base in North Carolina. You know, let's go to the Carolinas, right? And so I said, ooh, you know, I want to come up there and get a hold of Boost Stock so bad. You know, I'm a
that'd be a nice look too.
I'm a big fan of Boosties because you know, I was like a comic book nerd. You know, I was growing up, I was an athletic nerd, right? So I could get away with my nerdy stuff, and you wasn't gonna make fun of me because I was.
I'm an athlete too. Yeah. I was an athlete too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I loved Luke Cage.
Come on now.
In the comic books.
Come on now.
Power Man. You know, when I was growing up, he was called Power Man.
Yeah.
You know, now he would say some stupid stuff that, you know, they writers would be like Jiminy Christmas. Don't nobody say Jiminy Christmas. You know, he had these weird so-called supposed to be
urban sayings.
Urban sayings that wasn't urban sayings. You know, somebody else made that up, right? But I love Luke Cage. And when I saw Boost Doctor with Luke Cage, woo! And Luke Cage was a box Chevy that was knocking people. Bow!
Nice too.
Oh,
it was nice
he
too.
coming with the power.
Nice too.
Man, I want to race that Joker so bad.
That's gonna be a good look. That's
gonna be a good race. But so we decided to move it from the beloved Texas Motorplex up to
the Carolinas,
Rockingham, North Carolina.
Okay.
So that's where it's gonna be. It's gonna be September the 27th.
Boom.
The place that I wanted to do an event at, that I just, man, for some reason I just cannot get the track, is XRP.
Really?
Extreme Raceway Park to me is the best track laid out. Period.
Yes.
But I just cannot get the track to
agree to it. To
do an event there. It's just, I don't know if it's just hard to catch up with the staff, or they got too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they already, you know, I'm just a little guy, you know, so I'm trying to come in there, you know. But
you demon knowledge. They probably let you through the door. Man, that was the first track I attempted to race my Hellcat at.
Yeah.
I remember we was all coming back from a car event in Houston, and you know, we passing 45, so we got to go right by XRP. And so we riding and we see, and it's like a Sunday. So of course, you know, Sunday is it's race day.
Yeah.
So we riding by and we see everybody there. We like, man, let's just go over there. And so I get on the track and I'm racing I'm racing Kenneth Hellcat at the time, and I spun out. I spun out. I almost hit the wall. I didn't, but I definitely spun out. But man, I'm gonna be honest, Demonizer, I'm definitely glad that we got to get you on the show, man. I've been telling my guy, he went down to get the other guests, but I've been telling DM I've been wanting to get you on for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely glad we got to get you on.
Hey man, it was a pleasure to be here, man. We talked a lot. I mean, I got to meet, by me coming in and racing and the channel growing, I got to meet some legends in the racing community.
Of course, a lot of them.
I met John Force, which is he likes the channel. Gave me the best advice I ever had. I said, what advice would you give me, John? We was at the airport talking, and then he had me to come hang out at his camp. And he said, do it because you love it. He said, don't do it for the sponsors and what. He said, if you love it, it's always going to be fun to you. And he said, and when you quit loving it, stop doing it. And I do it because I love it, and I have such a lot of fun. I have so much fun doing it. So I got to meet John Force. I got to meet Leah Pruitt, and just some of the great racers. Chuck Watson with Watson Racing. They build the Cobra Jets, and I got to meet the CEO of Dodge, and just the SRT team in Dodge at the time is just an amazing group of people. So this journey with the YouTube channel, I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's so much fun, and I'm having a good time doing it. I know Dodge has some stuff coming in the future, but I've had some other car brands reach out to me and say, hey, would you ever think of driving this or driving that? And, I'm a Mopar guy by heart, but man.
They offering some nice cars.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Mozzie. We gonna see, man. Who knows? You may see me in something else one day, man. Come on, I'm about to have the soul snatcher gonna be in something else, snatching souls, with something else, man. But hey, man, I appreciate you having me, and I'd love for you to come back. I wanna, what? I think I'm gonna bring my version of the podcast back, and I want you on my.
You got me.
On my show.
You got me for sure. You got me for sure.
For sure.
Man, I appreciate you again, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, you need to get your pack back together. It was you,
Him
Real, Him in Life.
Yeah.
Who else was it?
It was a few of us, but as far as YouTube, me, Him in Life, and Real.
Yeah.
We had Scat Pack Black. He was trying to do YouTube too. It was really just us three though. Me, Him in Life, and Real.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. That was like really doing the YouTube.
Yeah. No, y'all was serious about the game.
Oh yeah.
It's great content.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy. Like I said, I just seen one of Him in Life videos. He dropped it tonight. Yeah. Earlier today, and I watched it. But we got to get him on the show too. His schedule's a little different now. Because of work. But we getting him on too. Yeah. I wanted to bring him here with you, but he works on weekends. So so I'm a.
Hey man, tell me this. If what did you like about the Big Showdown, and what would you like to see us do at the Big Showdown 6? This is gonna be the 6th one.
For me, it was having all the different YouTubers, all the different collaborations that was there for me.
Because you go in there and you, I seen this guy, I know this, and you collab and you grow.
Exactly.
When you collab, people don't realize that.
Yeah. So for me, it would be to see that again. Honestly.
Yeah, and everybody's friendly. Everybody talking to you.
Everybody.
And it wasn't just YouTubers of color. It was all kind of YouTubers that was there.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody is invited.
Everybody. But yeah, it was real good. So if anything, I would want to see that again. Just the whole collaboration of the car community. Honestly, the influencers come back out. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the car show was
crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy.
So this year, what we're thinking about doing is doing a burnout pit, and doing the racing and doing the car show. So the burnout pit.
Burnout pit would be nice. Everybody love a good burnout. Everybody love a good burnout.
Yeah, and I like to see the ladies come out and
do their thing
and get more involved too.
Thing as well. Yeah. I like seeing the women racing, but Man, we appreciate you again for coming and rocking with us tonight. Man, the legend is in the building, man. Demonology. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notification bells. We do have a lot more stuff in store. We're gonna have to do a part 2. We gotta bring you back too, man.
Hey, you got to come on my show, and we're gonna have to do something on my show.
Let's do that.
I'm gonna
Let's
bring
set
my
it
show
up.
back. Who knows? I may be doing my show from this room.
Who knows? Let's set it up, man. Let's set it up, man. Demonology, everybody.
Talk about. Hey, man, let me get to the drag strip, man. I got some souls to snatch,
Let's do it.